Well, welcome everybody to the Odyssey. Um, we're happy to have you, and let me tell you a little bit about how we do it. The presenter, in this case, it's Bill Ramey, will have 20 or 30 minutes to talk about his life and his Odyssey. We will have a quick break and take an offering, and then at that time, you'll be able to ask questions and dialogue with him. I'll bring this microphone around because it's important. We're recording this, that your questions get on the recording too. So that's pretty much how it works. It's recorded for YouTube. I don't know exactly how it works, but you can you can ask in the office and actually get a. If you want to hear it again, you can, or anybody else's, you can get it there. So there's not much introducing to do, except next week, Ginger here is going to do the Odyssey. So you'll make sure to do that. And we'll turn it over to Bill right now.
Thank you, Morris. I'm Bill Raney. That's me up there in Sydney, Australia, and a double rainbow after the rain. Magical moment. I'm going to start with a song that is by a church member and a friend, Bob Walkenhorst. And this song has a lot of meaning to me, because when my kids were little, we'd drive in the car. And there's a word, a naughty word, the F word. And whenever the F word came, we would sing fire truck. So I'll sing fire truck at that point, and we'll listen to the song, which has some meaning to me for other reasons too that I'll get to. See, they've done you wrong, and so you right them all, and bye and get off. Right? Some fights. Ever on ain't very successful, so you found then you write about it and blah 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 blah. Way deep down inside, you're afraid that you're a fraud and you don't know someone doing right. So close nights. Don't my dogs ever just go home. Ready now, spend the time. I wish that I could see you. What you can do is talk about your girls and tell all color shows. That's all kinds of flirting. When it should be told you're afraid to get dirty. No, what do you like? Break up some like. Don't lie, dogs. Fire truck. Uh-oh. So, I've only seen one of these, which was George Baggett's, and I heard Suzanne's dad's Odyssey 20 years ago. So I don't know. This might be different, and it might be very short. But let's see. This is oh, this is about me, from Charlotte's perspective when I was 6. Favorite food salad, kind of optimistic, but that's nice. Drink beer, checks out. Dessert, Christmas pudding, but that's still pretty accurate. Pretty accurate. I'll leave that up there for now. And 33, yeah. 55. Oh, audience participation comes at the end. I want to talk what I think about religion, spirituality, and the search for truth and meaning. I was born February 11th, 1970, making me 55 years old. I don't feel that old. My parents divorced when I was 6, and my mom, my younger brother Pat, and I moved a lot as she finished her education. I went to at least a different school every year until I was in 8th grade. And I've lived in my current house since 2001, so I've settled down a little bit. Growing up, my mom took us to Methodist Church and Unity Church here in Kansas City from time to time, but we were not religious. I never got anything from church. If you'd asked the 12 to 25-year-old Bill Raney if he would ever be president of the board of his church, he would have laughed at you. But I learned sort of spiritual things. Uh-oh. I learned sort of spiritual things from my mom, work ethic. She is one of the hardest workers I've ever met. My dad, too, taught me something important. He always told me he was proud of me and how much he loved me. He and I played board games together for hours on end, always trying to find a better way to win. I don't like puzzles, but I like that kind of problem solving. So, what about solving the game of life? I think at my heart, I am pretty simple, and it's not really novel. It's all about the golden rule: do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Some things about what I think have changed in my 55 years, but what has not changed for as long as I can remember is it really pisses me off when someone screws over other people. Let's take organized religion for an example. I think it is mostly a scam to take money and power from the poor or disadvantaged and give it to the powerful. So, why am I here? It's not that I believe in God. I do think it is virtually certain that there are intelligences in the universe that might seem like gods to us, and maybe even much more unlikely, created humans and put us on Earth for whatever reason. Those are called aliens, not God, and are to us as we are to ants or even one-celled organisms that we kill, control, manage, etc., with no more benevolence than swatting a gnat. What proof is offered that there is a God? Lack of human suffering? Not hardly. Miracles? I try to think of a miracle in my life. I think it is miraculous that my dog, Annie Oakley, loves me so much. And dogs in general have been such a gift to humanity. But that relationship is not an act of God, but an act of our great, 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 times 100 ancestors that first threw bones to wolves 75,000 years ago. The miracle is our doing. The miracle is what we as humans do in our time on Earth and the effect that has on the future residents of Earth. I do believe I've been very lucky in life. And it's not just for silly things like winning raffles, drawings, or anything like that. I win raffles all the time. It's eerie, spooky. But in the big stuff, I hit the lottery too. I'm smart, I'm funny, I'm healthy, I'm humble.
Definitely.
I have a beautiful family, and I have never wanted for food or shelter. So I also very much believe in a corollary to the golden rule: from whom much is given, much is expected. That is probably why I love All Souls so much. We give what we can to people who need it. Youth searching for the truth, their own truth, the hungry. I can't remember being more proud of All Souls yesterday as I marched in the Pride Parade with 40 of you, letting people of every gender and sexuality know they're seen and welcome here at All Souls. This is humanity doing what humanity should do as a group: take care of each other. Exactly what I believe. I'm here to do what I can, maybe not much, but at least something to be a role model to others, to be welcoming to those in need of welcome, give shelter when I can, and food to the hungry. maybe most importantly, to raise my daughters to work hard and know they are capable of solving their life's problems. And I'm not here to brag. Bragging is very anti golden rule. So that's what I believe in, the golden rule, and do what I can. So now I'm going to continue the slideshow. I don't like complaining either. I'm a glass more than half full type of person. Uh-oh. I'm a glass 3/4 full. So I have some things I don't like, but I have more things I do like in this slideshow. So I obviously like show. Is this working, Mika? Oh, okay. I don't like the post office. Oh, I don't like sand. Ugh. Oh, I don't like the royal family. I don't like Jello. Hey, why is it going on its own, Mika? Okay, go back. I have stuff to talk about. I do not like the royal family. I did not vote for them. Okay, next. I don't like Jello. Next. I do not like cottage cheese. Next. I do not like Jello cottage cheese casserole. When I was growing up, my grandma made this for every family occasion and party. And I'm not kidding. When I was a poor young adult living in Westport with a roommate, had a kegger, a party, and my grandma somehow found out and brought that salad to the kegger. Next. Okay, these are people that people have said I look like. Does that look like? This is Eric Amble, who's a musician. He's played with Steve Earle. That's a few years old, but some people have said, oh, that's Hugo Weaving, Elrond from The Lord of the Rings. He's also in the Matrix movies. Next. Oh, these are Ginny and Charlotte. And this is I like live music. And this is right before we went into the Taylor Swift concert. Oh wow. Which was awesome. Next. I like The Lord of the Rings a lot. My dad read it to me when I was 6, and I read it to my kids when they were younger, and I love it. Oh, that's fine. I love national parks. Yeah. Next. I love All Souls. Second most meaningful time here was when I got to be a chaperone at the youth trip to Boston. And this is our group in Boston a few years ago. Charlotte and Suzanne and Ginny went a couple years after that, but it was an absolutely magical time, and I love All Souls. Next. And this is from yesterday, and it was so good, and it was just magical. People smiled and waved and gave high fives, and it was just great. And I was really proud to be a member here. Next. I like the Royals, and I like Dan Quisenberry. He's my favorite player. He was a poet. Next. And I went to the World Series celebration. It was quite crowded
Why?
in 2015. Next. I like beer. Next. Oh, I love to cook. And this cookbook was a gift from my mother-in-law, Charlotte, to me more than 20 years ago. And I've cooked out of it almost more. Anything in there is delicious, but the chicken that has 2 lemons stuffed inside it and roasted is the best recipe I've ever made. And I don't eat meat very much anymore, but it's really good. Next. And I love Mark Bittman as a cookbook author. He's absolutely amazing. And Charlotte has been a vegetarian for at least 5 years and has pulled our family in that direction. And it makes me very proud of her. And anything you could ever read by Bittman is a good cookbook. Next. I like Annie Oakley, our new dog. She's kind of a mess, or she makes a mess. uh, but she's a sweetheart, and she loves to run. Next. I like babies. Those are some baby geese I saw on a run. Next. I like running. And next, in the rain. Next, or shine. Next. Oh, and this is what I love the most. I love my family. There's my brother in the back in the pink and his wife. and Abby, his daughter, and there's Aoife and Suzanne and Ginny and Charlotte. Next. And here's Drew, his other brother, and my mom over there, Kate, and Bob and Charlotte, Suzanne's parents. Next. And I'm also the world's greatest dad, world's best dad. Next. Okay, and then I have one more song I want to play. This is by a guy named Matt Snook who died of cancer last year. He and I met playing poker, and it shows you that not everybody you meet playing poker is a degenerate out to take your money. They're out to take your money, but they're not all degenerates. And this song really means a lot to me. Not only because it was my friend and he died, but it talks about a lot of what I just talked about, maybe from a little bit different perspective. Anyway, he was a really great guy and uh, died very young. And one thing I like about our church too is conflict resolution and working with each other because you can only do my way or the highway so many times before it's just you alone. And he was really good at resolving conflicts that came up at poker. Players get mad at each other sometimes. Really good guy, and so um, that's something I like about All Souls too, is that we are a community and a family, and it's not my way, the highway. Anyway, thank you. That's it.
Well, at this point, we will take a break and I will find the offering basket and pass it around. And then we can have some wonderful dialogue with Bill.
Like an inch. You're the cat too.
I'm gonna just, I'm passing around the offering basket. We'll take a minute.
You're doing this next week, huh? Have you done it before, Ginger? Okay. Well, you can ask me if you want. Oh.
Here. Okay. Get this row, anybody? Oh boy, now the fun part. We'll get to dialogue and ask questions of Bill.
So, Bill, I'm curious as to when your first exposure to Unitarian Universalism was and what brought you to All Souls
Yeah.
and when that was.
So Suzanne's dad, Dick, was a member here. And when Suzanne and I when we started dating, we'd come from time to time. And I thought this place was spooky. I remember the service I remember was a play about whoever the Greek goddess who goes down to the underworld and turns around and whatever. But it was all an allegory for the lack of health care in the United States. I don't know how it came together, but for years later, I would tell Suzanne, "Oh, I can't see another play about health care in the United States." But then we were married here, and Suzanne's dad died in 2006. Is that right? And the service was here, Dick King, and it was so caring. And we were having young children. We had young children at the time, and became members because we wanted to have that community for our children. And it's been nothing but amazing since. He was the board president. Yeah, he sure was. Jamie.
When your children are when your children are grown, will you still come to church here?
Oh, absolutely. So we made a deal with them that if they did the religious Odyssey, not religious coming of age program, we would never force them to come again. And so sometimes they come, sometimes they don't. Charlotte, Ginny's been doing better. Um, not better or worse. It doesn't really matter. But of course, I don't see not coming here. Yeah, it's a very important part of our lives, my life too.
When did you?
Here.
Where or how did you develop your sense of service to the community? How did that come about?
I don't know. I mean, I just consider myself really lucky. And like, I really don't think there's anything other than us here right now. I mean, I don't believe in the afterlife. I mean, and if you can't help people now, what are you waiting for? Um, and I'm not bragging at all. I think we could do more. I mean, I could do more. I'm not living with a hair shirt or, whatever example you want. Like there are things you can do, I think things I can do, and I just want to do those. And part of it is being on the board right now with Jamie and Brian, and somebody's got to keep the lights on. You too. You're on the board. So everybody's there. So no, I just think it's important. Because if you're not going to do it, who is? And somebody has to.
You didn't say when you first, you said when you first came to All Souls, but then what made you come back?
So yeah, it was when Dick died, was it Jim Eller that did the service? And Jim Eller did the service, and it
Yeah.
was just so caring, and it made me, get a picture of something about the community. Now, something I've done recently that just has empowered me more than anything is joining the choir.
Yeah.
It is so fun. The people are funny, and Anthony is a laugh riot, and it is just very empowering. And, so committee meeting does not charge my batteries. Going to choir practice, singing in choir, that charges my batteries. You have to balance those kinds of things. So, you know, if from when we joined in 2006, my sense of commitment and love for this community has just gone up.
And you didn't talk about your education and your work.
So I went to the University of Missouri. I have a degree in journalism and in psychology, but I never was a journalist. I went to law school at the University of Virginia, which was it was fine. Um, I have always had an interest in free speech and the Constitution. And when I went away to school, a friend of mine's dad, Clay Koppelvitz, said, "Bill, send me a resume. I'll give you a job this summer." And 33 years later, I'm working at the exact same firm. He had a Supreme Court case in 1988 that involved fundraising and makes me at odds with my Unitarian brethren and sistren a lot about money and politics. And we could talk about that another time if you like. I talked about it with our new member, Bill Frank, just a couple weeks ago, who was my high school teacher. A new member here, just cool. And so then in 2000, I got to go back to the Supreme Court and carry the briefcase. I didn't get to talk. I got to sit in the Supreme Court. I wrote the brief, and it was another fundraising case, and I still work in that area. But it was before the internet, and my boss was on vacation in Mexico, and I got to work early back in the day, and the phone rang. It was the clerk of the Supreme Court, and they said that your decision's coming down today. We'll fax you a copy. And I said, "Did we win?" And she said, "You lost 9-0." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't have a job. This is it. I'm done." So the decision came down. I had to fax it to the resort in Mexico where my boss was. And we read it and we're like, "We won. We actually won." And the Supreme Court had decided it not on the issue that we cared about. We won the issue we cared about. They kind of decided it on a technicality. And so I had to write with my boss a paragraph explaining how a 9-0 decision was actually a win. And no matter what the reporters called and no matter what they asked, I gave the same answer. And they must have thought I was an idiot because they'd say, "What's your name?" And I'd say, "The decision is actually important because blah, 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 blah." And then I read in the papers the next day, there was my quote and it got through. So, and I didn't lose my job. So it all worked out.
Um, one thing that was on the picture of Charlotte's description of you was you play the
Yeah.
bagpipes,
Yeah.
and that was very meaningful because you were part of one of the most important days of my life when you played the bagpipes, played Clay and me out of the church after our wedding. How did you get into playing the bagpipes?
So my grandmother's name was McLeod. And when I turned 30, I decided I was either going to learn to play an instrument or learn to play golf. And I thought golf was stupid. And she always said she would pay for my bagpipes, and they were expensive back in the day. Remember, I lived with a roommate in Westport. This might be a little bit after that. It was when Suzanne and I were married. And learning the bagpipes is tough on the spouse. And so I was in a band and played, and I loved playing weddings. Um, I didn't like playing funerals because I cry, and I would cry about the person that I didn't even know, and that was ugh. But then I started having babies, and bagpipes and baby naps are kind of like Venn diagrams like this. And I got to play Kendall in when she was accepted her call here, and I played at a couple funerals here, but I haven't played for a while, but I still have them. So anyway, I really appreciate everyone being here. Any other questions? Oh, more. Okay.
So, what's the most complicated, difficult thing you've ever dealt with? And we know that you cried.
Oh, yeah. Um, I mean, being married is pretty complicated. It's It's rewarding. It's wonderful. I think I think one of the I was just thinking about this and it's worked out. I mean Aoife is beautiful and wonderful and smart and she's found a community. But when she came out as trans, it was it right during the pandemic or right before? I mean, it was a weird time. And I didn't know what sources of knowledge she was getting, and I didn't know a lot of trans people. And I was very worried about her health and self-harm. And, it's all come out like making people stay in the closet is much more dangerous to people's health than not. So that was probably the scariest moment of my life. Um, but, you know, I've lived a good life, so everything's been okay. So thank you.
Tell us about the Taylor Swift concerts.
Oh my God. It was great. It was my music taste changed about 2015 when I started taking spin class. I always was into like bluegrass music from my dad and and then I started listening to these pop tunes and now I just love pop music and I love Taylor Swift and it's been really wonderful because Ginny and Charlotte are both really into pop music and it's been lots of fun sharing. We go to concerts all the time together, and I I'm not like the dad that's like, oh, classic rock, So I appreciate I appreciate new music. So and the concert was great. It was absolutely wonderful.
Here's an easy one. What's your favorite national park?
Oh, I did not like the Great Dunes Park, Sand Dunes Park, Rocky Mountain National Park, Grand Canyon. Yeah, um, at Rocky Mountain National Park, beautiful. Love the mountains.
Hi, I just love you so much.
Love you too.
Um, were you this empathetic when you were a child, or did it begin when you had children and life
And
got
now my
different?
mom's gonna come out of the kitchen as a surprise, right? Yeah, she'll tell you. She was just here. She was in Panama. I was
Were
empathetic.
you prone to crying a little bit like you are now?
Probably. Oh yeah, my dad
That's
cried a
so
lot. Not in a bad way. Not tears of anger, tears of happiness. Not really tears of sadness.
Did your grandmother know that you didn't like Jello? And to,
She
and
was
to,
she was kind of a force of nature. She probably didn't care. She care. You'll eat it. It's good for you. There's a famous family story of grandma's non-fat Thanksgiving. I don't. People don't even remember what was served, but they remember that Thanksgiving.
Where did you go to high school?
I went to high school at Barstow, which is in southern Kansas City. Um, it was a very rewarding place. It was very intellectually challenging, and I enjoyed it a lot.
What district do you live in now?
Grandview. We lived
Okay.
out south.
Talk to us about vegetarian cooking since you're getting more that direction and you have somebody in your household that's their journey.
I just, I think for the environment, number one, for ethics, number two, and for my health, number three, it just seems it's something we can do as individuals to maybe make the planet better for our great grandkids. And it's so delicious. It's just so good. And Kansas City in the summertime, I mean, we have these farmers markets that are just outrageously good. And I love beans, I love tofu, I love pasta, um, I love burnt ends. Um, so I don't want to preach. I'm not preaching. I just think it's something that's really easy. And I love food. I love to cook. I think it's cheaper in a lot of ways. It's certainly better for you than fast food. So I just think it's something to explore. It's not something to make rules about for you or for other people, but it's something that's worth exploring because it's a lot of fun and it's delicious. and I love cooking with you.
Anybody else?
Uh,
Yeah. Bill and I are among a few other people at church who cook, but if you ever want him to cook, it really doesn't matter what is happening in his life. I have surgery scheduled the next day, but I will cook for you. You ask him and he will do it. And it's just a gift.
I think you're a gift, and Sharon, you're a gift. It's just somebody, someone's got to do it, and it's not that hard.
And it's a way for us to gather together.
Absolutely. And we have to have our choir dinner because the meat is in my freezer. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. And remember, next week is Ginger.
That was so. I was like, that's bad for Aaron. Like wearing nice clothes. I was just wearing a t-shirt and shorts.